Hello, Frog fans. Welcome back to Postgame Beers Podcast. We are the Lupton Drinking Club. I'm your host this evening, Kyle Malloy, joined by my co-host, J.D. Sailors. We've also got our producer, Crazy Ray Cartwright, on the show. The crew here to talk about the series win against the Cincinnati Bearcats. But Jacob, real quick, before we get to the Frogs, before we get to TCU, we have a lot to talk about. I got two words for you.
Yep.
Dallas Stars.
Dallas,
Bing
bong.
Stars.
Ping
How we doing?
Fucking bong, dude.
Man, that Mikko Rantanen is something. I've been watching hockey since I was in fourth grade.
God.
I've never seen anything like him. They asked Mike Modano on a podcast if he's ever seen anything like it. He said 1991 Mario Lemieux.
Ooh. I remember that name because that's how old I am.
Yeah, dude, it's incredible, man. It's incredible. If he keeps this up, I don't know how we're gonna lose to anyone.
They're looking good, and it feels good too. Because I obviously don't watch every game as closely as you do or some other Dallas Stars fans do, but I'll chime in occasionally, kind of check out what's going on, and just the vibes seem very high right now. So,
dude, it's really tough. Like, I am definitely still, big focus on frog ball, but it's tough when the Stars are making a run like this because, like, yesterday I was at the game, right? And Ray, turn your TV off.
What's he? Oh, he's looking at the NBA draft.
He's watching the
show.
damn NBA draft.
Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me?
Who won?
That's so dumb.
Who got it?
Cares?
Who got it?
Well, the Mavericks are picking first in the NBA draft.
The Mavs are?
Yes.
No way. Seriously?
It's a conspiracy.
That's wild.
It's a conspiracy. The league officials made it Mavericks trade Luka to LA, and their reward is, well, you can have Cooper Flag.
Oh my gosh. So he's going to keep his job, isn't he?
God, I hope not.
He's going to keep his job.
I'm surprised he still has his job.
Wow. That's actually crazy. Nico will trade the pick, says Damon Selman.
Dude.
That's hilarious. To the LA,
Yeah, he'll send it to LA.
Oh boy. All right. Well, that's a development. Just saying. You two were out of the Mavs. Are you back in? Are we back in?
Are we not talking basketball?
Okay.
Golly, talk about checked out.
We were talking about the Stars and having a great time.
Yeah. So yesterday, the Stars game started at 3:30, right? And I turned it on my phone. I was at Lupton, but I turned it on about 3:45, is right after they scored their first goal. And so I'm watching it on my phone. I'm watching the game, and it was like towards the end of the game where Cincinnati took the lead for good. We made the pitching change to go to Cade Udy, I believe this was.
Okay.
And everybody was real tense. They had like first and third, 2 outs. They'd already scored. And I'm looking at my phone, and it's quiet, and I just go, bing bong. We scored again. And everybody just kind of turned around like, what game is he watching? Because I'm pretty depressed watching this baseball game right now. So that's kind of where my head's at. I got my attention divided.
6 runs in 2 innings. What are you doing over there?
I know.
All right. You all ready to get into games?
I guess.
All right.
Let's do it.
Game 1 brought to you by Long Drink. Appreciate Long Drink for actually helping us out with the tailgate this weekend, the parents' tailgate.
How about that tailgate?
Hey, dude, I meant to swing by your place and pick up some Long Drink after the game and forgot.
Well, hurry up because I'm about to take it all out. Long Drink, refreshing, citrus, beautiful gin beverage. We appreciate Caden and his crew for always supplying us, but also for the tailgate on Saturday. Was a lot of fun. So we'll talk about that before game 2. But thank you to Long Drink. So, all right. Despite Cincinnati's hot start in the first inning in game 1, they scored 3. TCU would just lay the lumber the rest of the game. So it was a fun Friday night for all of us. Crooked numbers in the 6th and 8th inning for the Frogs. We won 17-11. Not the game that anybody was expecting with the 2 starters on the mound, but clearly a butt whooping with 20 TCU hits. Pretty awesome. Every batter.
I think 20 of the runs were scored after the starters were pulled, to be fair.
That's fine. But
I think 5-3 when the bullpens came in the game, and it ended 17-11.
I mean, we shouldn't have allowed 11, but that's another matter, right? So every batter, including the replacements, had a hit. 3 players, Carson Bowen, Cole Kramer, Noah Franco, all had 3 hits each. Franco led the way. He had 5 RBIs himself. He had a double. He had a home run. On the mound, we saw Tommy Laporte. Actually, a shorter night for him. You know, we've been used to get him going 6, 7, even longer, into the game. He only went 4 1/3, but we had Lewis, Cade Udy, and then Zach James. I mean, combined, this crew registered 17 Bearcat strikeouts. So just a fun night, watching them kind of dominate on the mound. Cincinnati, on the other hand, they rolled out 8 pitchers. This was like a Tuesday night, like a bullpen game or something.
Dude, it is worse than a Tuesday night. Look at that. Look after the 5th inning on. I see 2/3 of an inning, a third of an inning, 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 2/3 of an inning. That was effing ridiculous.
All right. So I kept asking Jacob during the game, I said, why are they leaving this guy, Nathan Taylor, in the game? He's allowed 8 runs. He's allowed 11 hits. He's through 5 innings. And I kept asking, like, what is the deal? His response, which was legitimate, is like, who else are they going to bring out? Like, they don't have anybody else in the bullpen. They've got their 3 starters, and they've got nobody else.
Pretty much.
That was kind of the theme for the weekend.
Yeah. I mean, they used 8 pitchers on Friday.
Yeah.
So you thought, you were in pretty good position after just demoralizing their bullpen. And really, though, they hit their bullpen pretty well all weekend. Like, they dropped the Sunday game, but it wasn't because they couldn't hit their bullpen. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess offensively, that's kind of what you expected, right? I don't know about 17 runs, but
I didn't follow I didn't follow them as closely this season, but I'm wondering, they had their 3 pitchers and then everybody else was just this, kind of washing machine of like, all right,
hold on, time out. Why do I still hear a TV in my headset?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, is it me? Can you?
Yep.
Man,
Yes,
I didn't
it's
realize
you.
it was that loud. My bad.
God almighty.
Game 2 brought to you by no, I'm kidding.
Hold on, real quick. I did want to point out, obviously with 20 hits and 17 runs, there's going to be some dotty performances.
Yeah.
But how about 6 guys with multiple hits? Every starter having at least one. 6 guys with multiple hits.
Felt pretty good. It was a fun night. We had a good time. A lot of runs scored, and I want to say they scored like 5 in the 8th or something like that. So
7.
it was a close game, 10-8, and they popped off for 5 more. So the crowd
They
went
scored
wild.
5 in the 6th and then 7 in the 8th. Somehow these teams mixed in a scoreless 7th. That's kind of the story of the later innings. Is the 7th inning was scoreless.
Keep talking. I got some background noise. I'm gonna figure out. Okay, real quick.
What's going on?
Boy, we are off the rails.
All right. Let's go to the second game. Second game brought to you by Chinook Seedery. Go to ChinookSeedery.com. Get you your multi-flavor custom pack. Use promo code LDC to get 10% off of that order and every order that you place.
I mean, before we go on to the second
Well,
game,
we already did.
No.
But what do you got?
Tommy Laporte.
Okay, what?
Dude. Okay, he gives up 3 runs in the first inning, and you're like, oh, man, okay. Is this going to be one of those starts? Dude settles right down. And, dude, 11 strikeouts.
Yeah.
4 1/3.
But credit to Cincinnati because, they managed 7 hits off him. That top third of the order, top 3 or 4 guys, is about as deadly as it gets on any team in the country, man. Landon Vitterick, Carrington Cross, and Jack Natilli. And then you could throw in Cal Sefcik, I think is a freshman. I think he came on kind of later in the season for them, but boy, he's deadly too.
That's
some
Tommy
point-
O'Connor. terrorized TCU
Well,
all
so
weekend.
here's what's weird about Tommy O'Connor. So he hits that monster home run, and I think he had 3 home runs over the weekend. He came into the season with 4. It's not like, wow, look out for Tommy O'Connor.
His batting average going into Sunday was like 200. It wasn't anything crazy.
And I don't think he did a ton outside of hitting home runs. But he doubled his home run total over the weekend out of nowhere. Like,
dude, that first home run he hit of the weekend, boy, he sure watched it sail.
Well, he should have. He hit it over the light pole. Like, I can only remember Josh Watson hitting one that far to right field.
It'd be kind of fun to have a guy who, I mean, he's not going to hit a lot, but when he does, it's gone, and just scares the opposing, pitchers and coaches into like, all right, maybe we need to change out our pitcher for this guy because that's how good he is.
Speaking of home runs, we did hit 3 on the night, kind of breaking our home run drought.
Yeah, we did. We had actually talked about that on the deep dish that had been since the Baylor series. That was their last home run, and Kansas since their last multi-home run game.
Yep, and that can lead us into Saturday. MK, I already did the ad read for Chinook, so you can see that.
That's perfect. So. All right, Frogs looking up. They're 1-0. Looking to take the series on Saturday. Again, Cincy struck first with a first pitch home run by Viduric, our guy that we continue to get scared by. But I mean, he had a great weekend. He just absolutely killed the Frogs all weekend. But after 4.5 innings, Bearcats were up 6-3. I didn't feel great at that point, but the Frogs just kept clawing their way back inch by inch. They had 4 runs in the second to tie the game. Excuse me, that's the wrong second half of the game. Excuse me, the 4 runs in the second half of the game, and took it 7-6 in a dramatic fashion. We had Anthony Silva up in the bottom of the 9th. He was the first batter, took him deep, walk-off home run. Just an awesome day and evening, for everybody there. Ray and I talked about the tailgate. We had a great time with some parents beforehand and had some great food, great drinks, served long drink, beforehand. But man, that was a fun way to kind of end the Saturday because again, you're hoping to win the series, but you never know. And Cincinnati's a good team, and it was good to see him take it.
Yeah,
I think the story of this one, though, maybe I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but so Cademan Parker had a pretty bad day, which was kind of like his first real bad outing of the year. So we don't harp on that too much, but the story really is Braden Sloan, 4 2/3, 1 hit, 3 walks, but 5 strikeouts and kept the Frogs in the game. It was nice to see Braden bounce back.
I know. Take the 3 walks because it was scattered over.
The only one that really sucked was there in the 5th inning where he quickly got 2 outs and he got 0-2, walked the guy, and then O'Connor hits another home run. Yeah. So the home run doesn't bother me, but God, that 0-2 walk hurt.
So
with 2 outs.
Did he get squeezed on that? I think I remember him getting
all 4 pitches.
Not on all 4, but
he had him 0-2. I'm not going to blame the umpire for not putting him away for Braden.
For some reason, I put this in my notes, but I'm like, I felt worse in the moment about Sloan's performance, and then I looked back and I'm like, actually, that was great compared to his last.
What did you not like about his day?
I'm talking about in the moment. I'm like, oh no, we're giving up 2 more runs and we're down 6-3. We have no chance of coming back. Yet the offense, what they did was Sloan, and then who came in at the end there?
Freaking Nate Stern.
Dude. Nate Stern from the top rope. I may have spoke too soon saying Sloan was the story of the day because Nate Stern, man.
Dude, yeah.
So only 2 runs on 2 hits for those 2 guys. And to take that after, what was it, the 4 in the 3rd when Cademan was pulled, that's an incredible, performance by the bullpen. And I would take that every single time. I don't know why I felt that bad in the moment, but looking back, I'm like, wow, good job, Braden.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was really hyped about
it. It is probably like because you're down or whatever. You're like, oh man, now we got to come back. We're down 3 now.
I think it was completely on the offense and not necessarily Braden's, fault.
Yeah,
right?
I think for me though, down 6-3, and I'm like, okay, Cincinnati, let's see that bullpen again. Let's see what you got.
So if I told you that TCU would have 5 home runs on a day, could you even imagine a world where we only score 7 runs?
Yeah, dude, that's amazing. Yeah, they had like nobody on base all day.
I mean, that was wild.
Yeah, it was. But really cool for Silva to get that home run because he's been up in some big spots where he hasn't come through. So kind of getting another shot there and making the most of it is really cool.
Did you notice Silva went back to his walk-up song from his freshman year?
I saw that on Twitter. But
he changed it up.
Yeah, he went back to what was working his freshman year.
Okay. All right. Let's hope it keeps working then. Pretty fun to have his whole family was there. All the brothers, obviously Jacob's, on the team, but they had a good time and celebrating Mama Silva if
you can get Silva going, if you can get his bat going as we head towards postseason play, that just makes this lineup even more dangerous.
Especially in the what's in the 6 or 7 hole at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Frogs up 2-0. You got anything else on this game?
Another day of they had 6 of the 9 guys with a hit.
Okay, Carson Bowen, steady Eddie.
Yeah.
Dude, you're getting that. He has 3 hits. Dude, 3 hits Friday night, another 2 and a home run on Saturday.
Yeah, that's better than steady. That is elite hitting.
Then Chase Brunson had 2 mammoth shots.
His first one was like top of the scoreboard.
Dude,
they grooved him the easiest pitches in the world to hit. Like I couldn't imagine a world where he didn't hit home runs on those.
And then, dude, you had talk about how we talked about O'Connor's home run, and Jacob, you said that was as far as like that was like a Josh Watson home run. Dude, how about Stroh's home run? I think that went further.
I'm trying to remember what it looked like.
Yeah, me too.
Because I remember
disappeared into the bushes.
Did it? Oh, I was listening to the game on the radio. That's why I can't recall it.
A point for the deep dish maybe is Caden and Parker just kind of talking about, I don't know if there's any concern there, if it was kind of a one-off. And
I mean, I can tell you he's had at least decent starts and a couple great starts all season. This is the first bad one.
I'm not concerned about him moving forward in that same role. I'm just saying, is there anything that he did differently, or I don't know? Maybe you can tell by your old graphs.
He throws several different pitches, and he just didn't have great command of really any of them except maybe the curveball.
Yeah,
like he couldn't find his fastball, couldn't find his slider was flat. He just didn't have his good stuff, and nothing was working. It's probably not good that you give up more hits than outs recorded. So I don't think that is a indicator of future performance by any means. So,
and again, the top of Cincinnati's lineup is so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Game 3. Anduno was started by 2 TCU alumni. Use the code LDC 2025 to get 10% off your first order. Maybe every future order after that. We'll have to talk about that.
I mean, why not buy multiple bags?
Just get whatever you want.
Limit yourself.
Yeah.
They have incredible bags for incredible travel. If you're going somewhere, you need a pack to take with you to put all your stuff in. You don't want to check anything. Anduno is your guy.
Say you're coming to Arlington for the Big 12 tournament. Grab an Anduno.
Throw some long drinks in there. I bet you could fit a couple packs plus seeds.
Maybe if TCU has to go on the road for postseason play, use your Anduno.
Okay, so it's Mother's Day. Frogs looking for the sweep. Sweep for the moms, if you will. But this one was down to the wire. I mean, the problem is the Bearcat Bats just continue to provide an answer every single time that TCU did. And Frogs, they were up 4-2 after 4 innings. that's kind of when the wheels fell off. Cincinnati got 3 runs in the 5th and the 6th inning. The bottom of the 8th, the Frogs had the bases loaded with no outs. This is the inning that, we were there, excited, kind of waiting for, something big to happen. They scratched across only 1 run because of a double play. And then we thought that, Silva was up at that point at the end of the inning. He had runners on 2nd and 3rd and thought, hey, 2 outs, no big deal. Just get a single and we can actually win this game, go up 10-9. Unfortunately, he struck out. So he was not the hero for 2 nights in a row. Not his fault. I mean, a lot of people had opportunities. I'll say that had opportunities to score this game. So frustrating middle innings. There was, it was the same thing as Friday night. Cincinnati rolled out a starter and then they rolled out pitcher after pitcher after pitcher.
Yeah.
I think they had 7 different guys that came out. Brassfield, tough day for him. Only gave up, he gave up 4 runs after 4 innings. But I don't know. It could have been a sweep. I look back and think, is that one of those games where we're going to look back at the end of the season and think, should we have had this? But it was a battle back and forth the whole time. So I don't know.
All right. I'll tell you the most infuriating point of this game, and it came in the 8th inning when Lucas Shin came in to pitch. It was, what was the situation? Hold on, no wonder I'm in the wrong inning. Okay. So his first and second. Sorry. First
single walk. Then
all right. Hold on.
came in.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So 2 guys on. Shin comes in for Udi. O'Connor's the first hitter he faces. Runs the count full. And then I'm sitting right behind home plate, and I swear to God, this ball's right down the middle. I don't know how it looked on TV, but I could not believe they called that ball 4.
Looked like strike 3 to me watching on TV.
Well, did you tell it like where we were sitting, Jacob?
Dude, yeah. I mean, we were right behind home plate.
Literally behind home plate, watching the entire strike zone.
I don't know how in the world that pitch got called a ball. Okay, so Cam in the chat, shout out to everybody watching on YouTube live, very clearly strike 3. That's what it looked like from my angle. So that pissed me off. That loads the bases. So now we have bases loaded, nobody out. Then we get a double play ball. Cool. Okay, 2 out. That's great. That's awesome. But a run scores. You wouldn't have had a run scored if you make the right call on 3-2.
I have a question for y'all about that. And would you have taken the force out at home or try to get 2 there?
No, you get 2 because you're not thinking we're never going to score another run in this game.
But I mean, you're in the 8th inning.
No, you want to get 2. Like the easiest way to get 2 outs there is roll it up the middle. I don't have a problem with that at all. It's much more difficult to make a throw home and then a throw to first to get a double play. So you take the 2 outs, you give up the run because you're only down 1. Now it sucks that Bixby came in and allowed a single to allow a second run that inning, which I go back to there shouldn't have been any runs that inning because the umpires have got to do their job. And speaking of that, the umpires just had a shitty day overall. So that first base umpire, he had 2 calls reversed that he called incorrectly against TCU. We challenged 1 both times. That's the same umpire that keeps ejecting Kirk.
I'm worried about his eyesight, to be honest. He needs to go check his eyes, like literally.
First base was Scott Johnston.
Yeah. So really terrible day. But, back to just talking about the team in general. Tough day, as you said, for Brassfield. Tough day for Udi. Tough day for Fieser. It's just like nobody could stop the bleeding. And then the offense couldn't quite pick them up. So, yeah, tough loss.
We were sitting there in the stands. I didn't feel great because every time, something would happen, I'm like, man, it doesn't feel good for a Sunday win, right? And we still had a chance. They still had a chance at the end because they kept plucking away, but they could not get past some bad calls and then no bats in the ninth, basically.
Yeah,
nothing,
and it's
nothing
just you just like you said, MK. Like, is this game you look back on? Well, add it to the list. Add it to the Texas Tech game, the Houston game, one of the two UCF games, the Baylor game,
both Arizona games,
both
really.
Arizona games. I mean, golly,
This stuff adds up, right?
And then you had West Virginia losing the weekend, which is really frustrating because now we can't even say, well, we weren't going to win the conference anyway because West Virginia keeps winning. Well, they freaking lost a series, so that puts TCU 2 games back. And I just read off all those really frustrating losses, and the conference was there, man.
When you think about the series that we could have had, right? Arizona, number 1, like we could have had that.
Yeah.
We could have had Southern Miss at home. Arizona State was at home.
Yeah.
Houston, there's a lot of series that should have gone the other way. And if you even do half of those, I feel like we've been on the bad side of all of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to complain about winning a series, but it's just too often that it's like you complete the mission, but you didn't accomplish it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know how in video games where you move on to the next stage of the game and then it shows how well you completed the last stage. And it's like, all right, yeah, okay. You did what you had to do to get by, but you could have done better.
50.5%.
Right. You got a bronze rating or a silver rating and you could have gotten gold. TCU is not they got the gold against Kansas, but that's it.
I think the two that hurt, that UCF series.
Oh man.
Sticks out like a.
Well, it's the same thing on the road, and it's like, okay, you didn't get swept, but man, taking 2 out of 3 on the road would have been nice, or home against Baylor, you won the series, but a sweep would have been nice,
Dude, especially against a team that's probably not even going to make the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah, we're gonna.
Now, with all that said, I mean, TCU's still in decent position. They sit 16th in RPI. I think you're on the bubble to host. I mean, I think a series win against Arizona would put you inside the bubble. I think a sweep against Cincinnati puts you kind of inside the bubble, but not getting either one. I think there might be some fans when it's all said and done upset if we get left out of hosting, but it's it's kind of our fault.
This is the same conversation as last year, except fortunately we're in the tournament.
You're in the tournament, right? That's why I'm not stressing too much.
But I do not expect us to host, right?
Yeah, I don't either.
I expect us to be the first 4 out of hosting, whatever that is.
Yeah,
I mean, where hey, you had a shot, but you didn't sweep Cincinnati.
Right.
Maybe you didn't sweep Utah to end. Maybe you didn't have a good Big 12 tournament. Who knows? And you're not hot at the right time. So
yeah. And it's frustrating because the team is good. I mean, I was looking at some stats across the Big 12. Do you know where TCU sits in overall hitting?
Top 4.
Using ops. Okay, first of all, do you know where they were last year? Do you remember that?
Bottom of the conference. Just right below or right above. What was it? Who was the worst?
No,
team
it was depending on the category, it was either us or BYU that was last.
I thought we were scraping by, just to make excuses.
But let's just look at ops. So combined slugging and on base percentage. Where does TCU rank in the conference in hitting?
I'm gonna say 4th.
Okay.
Maybe 3rd.
I'd say top half for sure. 4th is aggressive. I'll say 5.
Okay, they are 2nd.
Oh,
dang.
Behind Arizona State.
Bing bong.
All right. How about pitching? We can look at a couple different things here. Let's look at we'll start with ERA. Where does TCU rank
first
in ERA?
No way. Well, he is number 1. I realize that.
Dude,
total
ERA. Team ERA.
They're 1st.
2nd.
1st.
Well, they're 3rd. Oklahoma State, surprisingly.
Oklahoma State.
I really thought they'd be.
Oklahoma State is terrible.
Yeah, but they're
dude, make West Virginia make those games up.
They're 13th in hitting. Oklahoma
Make
State.
West Virginia make those games up.
Well, West Virginia, speaking of them, they're 2nd in ERA. They're a few points ahead of TCU.
before
those are
West
the only
Virginia,
3 teams with a team ERA in the 4s, and then after that, it balloons into the 5s. And then you get down to BYU. BYU has a team ERA of 9.
Dude, take out the one Arizona State game, and I wonder how much that drops our team ERA.
Well, on that note, if you go back to, I said we're number 2 in hitting. Arizona State's number 1. So,
yeah, take that game out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, but then I look at team batting average. Where does TCU rank in pitching opponent's batting average?
Number 1.
They're number 1. They're number
1.
They're number 1. So you ask, okay, number 1 in batting average, but number 4 in ERA. Well, where does your mind go to explain that? Where would you guess?
Ask the question again.
Say that, yeah.
All right, they're number 1 in opponent's batting average, but they're number 4 in team ERA.
Walks. That's where my mind would go.
They are 6th in walks. So when teams are scoring against TCU, it's because we're allowing the free pass. The walks are the killer for this pitching.
And that's the same for really any.
Oh, wait a minute. I had it. Sorry. Hold on. Nope. That's
Craig.
I had it backwards. I'm sorry. We're 9th. I had it sorted the wrong way. We're 9th in walks. So it's an even bigger issue than what I said.
And I mean, that would be true for any pitching staff. I mean, free passes.
Well, I'm just saying, like, we're not getting hit around. We're number 1 in the conference in opponent's batting average.
Now, where are we ranked with strikeouts? Because that can neutralize. And we have to be number 1 in turn double plays.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that this weekend because I'm like,
hell, strikeouts.
Because when the Frogs got turned to double play in the 8th inning, bases loaded, and then in that Sunday game, I was like, man, I can't remember the last time we had a double play against us, but we turn double plays all the time,
We're 3rd in strikeouts.
Okay.
Don't love it.
There's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're not getting hit around. Like, I think the team batting average against also is a credit to your defense behind you.
Right.
Arizona State is running away with it, but we're right behind Arizona for 2nd. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's good. Yeah,
right,
Craig says feeling like a 2 seed. Shout out to Craig. I ran into him at the game yesterday. Got to meet his son just graduated. So shout out to his kid for graduating. And I believe they said they're on a 23-hour drive back home. So,
dude, did he bring you some Maryland crabs? Did he give you a crab leg?
No, he got me an ice cold Coors Light though.
Oh,
so
hell yeah.
I call that.
Dang. Would have loved to have met you, Craig. Shoot.
Yeah, I should have invited him down to meet you, MK. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah, because you're a real.
I know, hogging all the glory, hogging all the beer.
It's all right. I got all the long drinks, so we're even.
Yeah.
Shout out Kelly, who came and said hi. Flew all the way in from Atlanta this weekend.
Thanks for joining us, Kelly. It was nice to meet you.
All right, guys. With a few minutes left in this presentation, what else do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the last weekend series real quick.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about Utah necessarily because that's where TCU is playing, but Arizona is at Houston. Okay.
Oh, man.
West Virginia is hosting Kansas.
That's
big.
Huge.
Huge.
That's massive for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kansas State is at Cincinnati. Okay.
Okay.
And then Arizona State is at Oklahoma State. So there's some pretty important weekend series coming up.
Damn, I might go dual screen Jayhawk, Mountaineer, Frog, Ute.
There's a lot of good series that are going to determine like what happens,
Dude,
in the Big 12 tournament, let's talk about that. A few changes that are different than last year. It's not double elimination, it's single elimination.
Mm-hmm.
The first 4 seeds get a bye. Mm-hmm. So right now, TCU sits in the 4 spot. So they are currently at a third.
Yeah. Okay. Kansas, we're tied with Kansas, but we swept them.
Okay. There you go. So 3rd, 4th, we're sitting at a bye. So that's big. After that, then you have 12 teams out of 16 that get into the tournament. And it's a single elimination. So that's different than previous years where TCU has been on the, they've been on a losing team and come back to win the entire tournament.
Yeah.
Dude.
So right now we would get the winner of Baylor and Kansas State after we get the bye.
I accept.
What if Kansas goes and sweeps Mountaineer and we sweep Ute? Do we share the Big 12 title with
depending on what
Kansas?
Arizona State does.
Who's Arizona State got again, MK?
Arizona State is at Oklahoma State, who's kind of on a heater.
Oh, dude. Okay. Yeah. I could see them at least dropping one.
Absolutely. They might drop both because they're in Stillwater.
Yeah. That would make things really crazy. I mean, obviously that would lock on a host spot for TCU.
The only surprise would be West Virginia losing a series when they're hosting Kansas. But if you told me Arizona, who played like garbage last weekend, that they lost one game or two games at Houston, I wouldn't be surprised. Kansas State at Cincinnati. I don't know what's going on in that one. We'll see, but we would probably want Cincinnati to take it.
Man, we would get screwed. So we're 2 games up or 2 games behind West Virginia right now, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if Jayhawk takes 2 of 3 even, right, and say we sweep Utah, I think West Virginia still is quote-unquote Big 12 champions.
Are
Because
they?
of win percentage?
Because they played.
What a clown-ass conference championship that would
God, because they didn't play Oklahoma State.
Dude, I hope they wouldn't be rewarded with a
that's
host.
the thing, right? That's what you really got to look at. We're 4 back in the loss column.
Rock chalk.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go, Kansas.
Yeah, so there's really no way we can overtake them in win percentage.
It's okay.
I mean, Perk had said that if it matters, then West Virginia would have to make up those games before the conference tournament. We'll see. But
So how would they even logistically? How would that even be possible?
There's
Because
no way
it'd be
they can do
Oklahoma
that.
State, and Oklahoma State has to play on Monday.
They're not going to do that. RPI,
yeah, they have to play like a doubleheader on Monday or something.
RPI is at 16. Is that correct? Based on the last. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is the highest RPI by 8 points compared to any other Big 12 team. Like
8 spots.
That's what I'm saying. That has to matter for something.
Yeah, it does. Except, if you finish 4th in your conference and you don't have anything on your resume that jumps out I
don't know. This is
like a Southern Miss or an Arkansas or, you have Kansas. That's it.
Yeah.
You lost both the Arizona schools. You're not sweeping anybody. You're not sweeping Baylor or Cincy or Texas Tech. So that's why I think we'll get left out of hosting, but there's still baseball to be played between now and then. They make a run to the finals of the tournament. That could be enough to get them in. So I think as of right now, I have them out as a host.
I have them squarely in right now, and I have Tennessee out. Those freaking clowns.
Hey, they're playing at Arkansas. I think we can go for the Hogs this weekend. Let's go. All right.
And I need Clemson to lose too.
So, Jacob, I know you got a soccer game to attend.
Yes, sir.
And we've got a deep dish on Thursday. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. We've also got potentially a special guest on Thursday that I'm going to confirm before I announce it live.
I think I know who this is. Oh, hey, actually, deep dish on Wednesday this week.
Is it
we
Wednesday?
Have a Thursday through Saturday.
Oh,
series.
Okay. Didn't know that, but that's good to know. All right.
Special guest on Thursday to be announced. Appreciate you all joining us live on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you to Unduno. Thank you for the long drink. Thank you, Chinook. Was a good weekend. Wasn't the best weekend, but it was a good weekend, and so we're grateful for that. So, hey.
I had fun.
Happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms. We love you guys. Go Frogs.
Go Frogs.
What's your favorite color?